What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Project Ozone 3 in Kappa mode. So guys, I just got done changing the on-off situation for our spawner here. Yeah, I've noticed since we've installed this thing and we've been letting this spawn in all of these entities that we are getting so much frame rate issues. So when I'm all the way upstairs, just standing in the main portion of the base, our FPS is about 30 lower when this thing is running than when it's off. It's weird. The thing that I've noticed is that it's creating a whole bunch of particles from, I guess, either the portal warping or from the mobs dying, one of the two. But yeah, it's like pretty much capping out the particles, which is lowering our frame rate. So I installed an online detector here. So the online detector is detecting when I'm online, and when I'm online, when I'm logged into the server, it emits a redstone signal. And our spawners in here are set up to only turn on when there's a redstone signal, so we had to invert that. So this is emitting a redstone signal, which is being inverted, so we're not emitting a redstone signal when I'm logged into the world. So the spawners are off. So if I change my name, add like a 1 here, I'm no longer online, so that's not emitting a redstone signal, and we can see that these mobs are now spawning in. Yeah. So if we press F3, and we look over here, this P number, this is the particles. Yeah, you can see this number gets up to about 4,000. I think that's cap 4,300 or something. Anyway, when we turn this off, if I get rid of this, you'll see that number drops pretty dramatically, pretty much to nothing here. Yeah, because there's like hardly any particles. There are some particles. I think the portal frames themselves or the portal blocks are making particles. But anyway, yeah, our FPS is way better with that in this configuration. So we're going to leave it like this. Whenever I log out of the game, yeah, then we'll start spawning in mobs for more singularities and stuff. And I think that's going to be better overall for our gaming experience. Right. So things that I wanted to work on today. So last few episodes, we've been working towards getting this infinity catalyst, and in order to do that, we needed to make this creative essence and this endless pearl. We still have to do cosmic meatballs and ultimate stew, but everything else we have pretty much ready to go. I think we should look at making cosmic meatballs today. That's going to make a lot of sense. We got to get these done anyway, and quite a few of these have EMC. Now, some of these items do not. Let's take a look. Which ones don't have EMC? Okay, so the imps don't give you EMC, so we're going to have to go and find these guys and spawn them in. You can't make a block out of this and then we can like spawn that in or something. Doesn't really look like it. So I'm pretty sure the only way to get this raw imp hide is by killing imps. So we have to go find those guys and then get those spawning in. Gassed meat, that's another one. Venison, so we have to get that from the Twilight, and meat again from the Twilight. So there's a few things here. I think you can do, yeah, list all fish raw. So I think regular fish have EMC, the vanilla fish. Yeah, so we can use that in place of this. And I think that's pretty much all we got to worry about. So let's start bookmarking these. So we're going to need imp hide, meat, venison, gassed meat. So 4 different items here that we're going to have to worry about. Okay. So imp hide, we need to go to the nether and find ourselves an imp. So let's get a mob imprisonment tool. Actually, I guess we'll grab 4 of these since we need to worry about 4 separate mobs. Okay. So off to the nether we go. Let's do this. Now I remember when we oh, I can hear one right here. Yeah. I think this imp has been here on top of this mushroom since we first started this pack. I was gonna say, I remember there being an imp like right where we spawned in. Boop, gotcha. Okay, so that was pretty simple. And that actually says imp on it, unlike the animated blocks that we've been doing, so we don't have to like rename this one, so that's good. So raw gassed meat, I guess that comes from like another gassed, right? Do we have, let's actually search gassed. Do we have raw gassed? Okay, so we have collected some raw gassed meat. I don't know if that comes from any ghast, like if we go and grab one of the baby ghasts, or if it has to be one from the nether here. Don't we have a bookmark or a waypoint blade ghast queen on? Okay, so where's the gassed queen? Blaze spawners, gassed queen. Yeah, I think there was like a spawner or something over here for a gas, right? So let's fly over this way, see if we can get ourselves one of these gas. We'll capture it, and that'll make our life that much more simple. So this is our gas queen spawner thing where we spawned in the gas queen before it had the urn inside, but I wasn't seeing any gas spawn here. But thankfully, just right here, there's another one, and there's a gas spawner on top, so I was able to spawn in a gas and get one out of that particular spawner. So we have 2 of these things down now, so the raw impide and the gas meat should be under control. So now we need meat and venison. So in order to get those, it's off to the Twilight Forest. Okay, so let's go to Twilight. So meat, we can now fly in the Twilight thanks to our armor, by the way, which everything up until this point has been really ridiculous to get around the Twilight. We've had to use like gliders and jetpacks and all that kind of stuff. So we just need to find ourselves, not a sheep, but one of the, what are they called? The deer? The wild deer? Yeah, wild deer. We need one of these. Who are you laughing at? Okay. So we get ourselves a Twilight Forest deer, and then the meave, I think we have to go into the mazes. Is that right? I think that's where we have to go. Oh my goodness, it's been forever since we've been here. So maze is down in this general area. The swamps usually have it. There's a maze right here. So I'm gonna go fly to this waypoint, and then we'll be right back. So trying to find one of these minotaurs or whatever is like harder than you think it would be. When you're going through these mazes normally, like you're running these guys all the time, but when you're looking for them, they're nowhere to be found. Well, at least we finally got one here. So let me grab this guy. There we go. So that should be all we need. Yeah, when we kill the minotaurs, we should get meat. Rid of you and these guys over here. Wonder if these guys are dropping anything that we could possibly want. I don't think so. Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. So let's warp back to the base. Okay, so now we have all 4 of these different mobs that we need, which is all 4 of the different things that we need for the cosmic meatballs that we can't just EMC. So now we need to set up a spawner, or at least a system to spawn these in, and then just keep like, I don't know, maybe like 4 stacks or something. Like we don't need a ridiculous amount of them. I don't know if we're gonna put them in the same like spawning setup over here, because this seems pretty cramped, and this is kind of designed for mobs that are only like 1 block tall or whatever. We might make another killing area specifically for these guys. I wish I was recording that, but I didn't. So I was hooking up another area here for us to spawn in mobs. This one's going to be different than the one we're doing here for the animated blocks. This one, we want to be able to turn on and off each individual spawner as we need the ingredients, the things that they produce. So I just hooked up these level emitters here so we can detect when the system needs something or when we're crafting it. Yeah, but I didn't put in the crafting card, and by default, when you put these level emitters on, they're connected to the applied energistics system. They emit a redstone signal. They're always on, which means it turned on all these spawners, which I had already put in the mob imprisonment tools. So yeah, we started spawning ghasts. Since I didn't have the warp thing in here, I was still working on this. We had gas everywhere. Like, oh, there's even a hole right here that I didn't get. Yeah, we had gas literally everywhere. I probably had to kill 75 of them that were just floating all around. It was super scary trying to come over here and disconnect all this stuff while they're flying around, because I don't want them to fireball everything. And thankfully they didn't really destroy anything too valuable. But yeah, there's probably still going to be some broken blocks somewhere from a deflected fireball or something. Anyway, so yeah, this is all hooked up, and this has to be slightly bigger than this one if we are spawning gas in the max size area, because in order for a gas to spawn, they have to have a 5x5 footprint. So if they were to spawn like at the very edge of this over here, the very last block that they could spawn, they'd still need like 2 blocks of space further than that. Otherwise, we'd cancel that spawn. So yeah, we made this one, I think this is 19 by 19 on the inside, or maybe it's 17 by 17. Something like that. It's 2 blocks bigger on every side, than this one over here, so we can spawn in the maximum amount of ghasts. So we're doing the same kind of a killing chamber. We're just gonna take the mobs here. They're gonna warp into portals as soon as they're spawned in, and then they're gonna go over here into this killing chamber. We just have diamond spikes on the bottom, and this should be 4 blocks tall, big enough to fit ghasts in, and 5 by 5. They should be warping to that very center spike right on top of it. So this should work theoretically, unless ghasts are going to be floating up. But I don't think that's going to be an issue. But yeah, we have the same setup here where we have 2 advanced item collectors. One of them is blacklisting loot bags. One of them is whitelisting loot bags. This one's collecting everything but those loot bags. And this is just collecting loot bags over here. So yeah, I think we should be about ready to get this thing set up here. We'll put in these guys. That one. This one. Oh, you know what? I need one more warpy thing, don't I? I need 5 of those, not 4 of those. Okay. Well, we can fix that real quick. Dislocator. We'll just craft up another one. Start that. And then I don't know if I can safely walk on these spikes with this armor. I guess we can do it. I shouldn't die or anything. It's just going to be really loud and noisy. It's fine. It's fine. And right there. Okay. Yeah, before I removed the spikes and I just placed a block that I was standing on so we didn't have to deal with that. But yeah, there we go. There's the last one that we need. Okay, so every one of those spots should be ready to go now. So I suppose we can try this. Make sure ghasts are going to warp in there correctly. So if I do this, emit while item is crafting, emit while redstone to craft item. I guess if we remove this. Okay. Did I not put that thing back in there? Well, I mean, it's warping the gas in properly. What did I do here incorrectly? I put the card back in. Why is that still redstone on? I don't understand. We're not trying to craft it. Why is it... Stop, please. Let's do emit redstone one. And then we'll do that. Okay, there must be some glitch for putting this card back in there or something with the item already set. All right, so yeah, we are having an issue here. The ghasts are being warped in, but they aren't dying to these spikes. Some of them were, but some of them are not. All right, so sound muffler is definitely a thing that we're gonna need. That advanced sound muffler thing that like cancels the sound of whatever you record. So we'll put one of those over here so we don't have to like listen to that everywhere in the base. That would be like really, really annoying. And then maybe we're gonna have to do the same thing where we put spikes on the top over here as well. Or we could set up, I guess, what do you call it? The mob crusher, mob grinder thing that we had before. Yeah, they will eventually die, but I mean, they have to float down in order for that to happen, right? Okay, well, I'm going to play around with this for a little bit, and then we will be right back. That is so much better. No more crazy sound that we have to deal with. So, like, we could also muffle the sound of the warping mechanisms. That's another thing that we could do, but I'm pretty happy with this for right now anyway. Let's go ahead and turn this one back off. So we'll click that, put this back into here. Okay, so now we want to apply energistics to turn these on when we request crafts. So that means we're going to need something that's going to request something that's going to turn into these raw imp hides, the raw venison, the raw gas meat, and the raw meat, right? So we need a applied energistic to say, hey, if I give you like a piece of dirt, then you're going to give me this in return. Yeah, that's what we need to do. All right, so let's go start setting up some kind of a craft for this. So we'll set up one of these. So let's get rid of this. So let's do raw imp hide. Imp hide. All right, so something is gonna make an imp hide, and we can say, I don't know, dirt. Pretty much anything with EMC would be fine, right? So 1 dirt is gonna equal 1 raw imp hide. So we can say that is a craft. And then we can put that into, oh, I don't know, how about an interface with a hopper on it? And the hopper is just going to reinsert those items back into this interface. Yeah, so we're essentially just saying, hey, we're going to craft something, we're giving you dirt, we're expecting an imp hide back, and then we're just going to put the dirt back in the system. So I think that's going to make some sense here. So actually, I guess we could do it right here. We don't actually need another interface. So if we put this hopper right here, whoa. Yeah, that's weird. If you are, I've seen this before. If you're like all the way up on top of a block, like you can't go up any higher, and then you press shift, you go up just a little bit higher, and then when you let go of shift, you're in that block, and then you can't see. Yeah, it freaks me out every time. Well, anyway, so this guy, we can, let's grab a wrench. I don't know if this really matters because I don't think this has an inventory, but we will click here. So all the items that this is going to be pushing will go into this hopper. So yeah, that'll be the inventory that it can see. So then if we put this right into here and we tell the system to craft some raw imp hide, it should put some dirt into this hopper, and then it should turn on the spawner over here to craft what we're looking for. So let's go ahead and give this a go here. So we'll do imp hide, and if I want to craft, say, 10 of those, next, it should say 10 dirt, 10 of those, start, and then we'll get some imps over here, and while we're waiting for those 10, before the system has collected them, it'll just keep spawning these guys over and over again, and then it got those 10, so the crafting should be completed, right? We're obviously going to get more than 10. This isn't an exact science, but we want this so like whenever we need some, it'll just turn on those spawners, start spawning them in, and then we'll collect the mobs. Okay, so we can do the same thing for all of these guys then. So we'll do one for the raw venison, the gas, and the meat. Yeah, we'll just say dirt equals all of those. It doesn't really matter what item, just as long as we can say something so we can start up the craft. Okay, so I think we got this working now. So if we tell it to craft some meat, let's just do 10 of those. We should start spawning in those minotaurs. Yep, so we got those guys coming in, which is fantastic. And then we should only get like around 10 of the stuff, and then it'll stop spawning them. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So the minotaurs work. Let's do venison, 10 more of those. Start that up. So then we're spawning in these guys. Yep, and those drop quite a lot, I guess. The imp hide, we'll do 10 of those. And then we've already seen, yeah, we've seen all of this stuff work now. Now, it is possible for us to spawn these in, I guess exact copy if we really wanted to, which uses more of the essence, but we could like lower their HP down to half a heart if we really wanted to. I don't think it's really necessary though, not for any of this stuff. And then of course the gas, one more time, we'll spawn in 10 of these guys. Yep, so all of this stuff is working real well directly through Applied Energistics, so I'm very, very happy with that. So yeah, again, the spikes aren't killing the gas 100% of the time, so we do have this mob grinder here, and then we're using this sound dampener with the ambient, the hurt, and the death sound of the gas muffled, so we no longer hear that stuff. So when we're elsewhere in our base, and this is going off, we'll no longer have any of that sound deafening us. All right, so that's real good. Oh yeah. I did change out. I got rid of the hopper that was down there, and I just swapped that for a chest and just used some item conduit to put back into the interface down there. While the hopper does work and that's super simple, if we're crafting up, I don't know, a bunch of like, I don't know, over a stack of all of those items, the hopper's only got 5 inventory slots, so kind of want a little bit more. We could also set it up so those recipes are like 1 dirt equals a 64 of each of those items or something. We could do that. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. We might change that up at a later time. But yeah, this stuff now, this is all completed. So if we wanted to start getting this done, yeah, we should be able to do this recipe now. Now, I don't know. Is there 9 items here? 9 unique? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 separate items. So 14 separate items is kind of hard to do with Applied Energistics out of crafting. We'll probably figure something out here in order to do this, but yeah, that's going to be a little difficult to do. So we'll see how this is going to work. But we do need these anti-stuff. So anti-beef, anti-chicken, anti-pork. We don't have any of those. Okay, so anti-beef, chicken, and pork. these are the next items that we need. In order to get those, we need some antimatter, which we made a while ago that required some multi-block structure. Yeah, we did this a long time ago. I can't remember how everything happened for that. But yeah, I think we can go to like the let's see. If we want to get anti-chickens, maybe Landia? There's a pig. So yeah, if we put some antimatter on this pig, it should turn into an anti-pig. There we go. And if we kill the anti-pig, let's use this sword here so we get looting 50. There we go. Anti-pork. Perfect. So what else was it? Pork, chicken, beef. So we don't need the sheep. We do need a chicken. Chicken, or a moo cow. I think we have cows in the overworld. Here's a chicken. This should work. Anti-chicken and looting. Perfect. All right, so now the only thing we need is a cow. So let's see if we can find one. I might just go to our base and grab one. I don't know if we have a regular cow there or not. Here's one right here, though. I'll just use you. Okay, that was really loud. And anti-cow. Got him. Okay, so there we go. And all this stuff has EMC. So as soon as we drop this into our applied energistics system here, we should have all of this. Why did that not get learned, actually? It should say that we have a bazillion of those. Guess we'll have to go back to the base and figure that one out. So I'm not sure why those recipes didn't come through and show that we had 1,000,000 when I was still in Landia, but when I came back to the overworld, I picked them up out of the terminal here and I put them back in, and it learned them. So I don't know, there's something weird that happened when I was in that other dimension. Anyway, so we want to be able to tell applied energistics we need to tell applied energistics that we want to craft this thing. So in order to do this, I think what we might end up doing is, since we can craft these specific items, the ones that we just set up the spawners for, I think we're going to say one of each of those is going to equal 3 cosmic meatballs. And then we'll provide these other items into the recipe through, well, I'm hoping this is going to work. So auto insert. So we'll have like an interface on the side here, or maybe I can pull from this interface here. I'm not actually sure. Maybe we can just reuse that one. We'll provide the items that it wants, and it should be able to pull those into itself, hopefully. Well, we need to set up the recipe to begin with, so let's get started with that. So let me grab one of every one of these items, and then we will set that recipe. Okay, so I went ahead and I saved the recipe in here, and it auto-crafted the very first one. So we have 3 of the cosmic meatballs in our system here. I think we get a quest complete for putting that in our inventory. Yeah. Okay, so we have that done. So let's see if the other thing that I was thinking about is going to work. So if I put one tiny pile of neutrons here, provided, and we say this is going to be on the south side. So if we go config, auto insert from south. So yeah, it is grabbing those and filling this up. Now I'm hoping it's only going to fill up the first spot and not going to put any more in there, since the recipe only has that first slot available. Does that work? Yes, okay, so it only fills up that very first slot, which is fantastic. So now that means that we can go through here and take a whole bunch of these items that we can auto-fill in there and just put them in. So beef and anti-beef, just grab both of those, beef, anti-beef. Oh, we already have them in our inventory here. So beef, anti-beef, like so. Yeah, and this way, part of the recipe is just auto-filled, and the other part, well, we'll provide the items and it should be able to craft them. So then we'll need the chicken and the anti-chicken, raw chicken, anti-chicken. What else do we need here? Pork. That's easy enough. Pork. So there's pork chop and anti-pork. Okay. And then one more, something else we can put in there. How about rabbit and mutton? Okay, so we can do those two. So there is rabbit and there is mutton. Cool. So now we have 9 items of that recipe just being automatically provided. So we'll have to take the rest of those items. starting at the raw imp hide, fish, meat, venison, and gas meat, and say, 2 of each of these, I guess, is going to equal 3 cosmic meatballs. Yep. So let me make that recipe. Okay, so this should do it. 2 imp, 2 fish, 2 meat, 2 gassed, and 2 venison makes 3 cosmic meatballs. That recipe is encoded. So now if we go over to here, and I put this into here, that should push those items into the chest, which will insert them into this. Once this completely fills up, looks like we still got a few more things. We're doing anti-pork now. Then we got rabbit and mutton. Rabbit and mutton. Just help this out a little bit. Rabbit, mutton. What are we doing? Oh, okay, so that's full. And then mutton's going in there. Yeah, this is just going just ever so slightly faster here. Okay, we'll get rid of that extra. Okay, so let's tell it to make cosmic meatballs. We'll just say make 3 more. And then hopefully everything's going to work correctly. And there we go. There's 3 cosmic meatballs. The recipe is happy. And this should be refilling everything once again. All right, let's tell it to make, I don't know, 10 of them. We'll do a few recipes here and just see how this all goes. Yeah, looks like everything's working correctly. And then these are all getting refilled. And then cosmic meatballs, we have 18. Perfect. Guys, this is super awesome. This is one of those recipes that's kind of hard to automate. But yeah, we can see that it's not that difficult with a little bit of know-how. And when you get like the raw ingredients automated through applied energistics, once we run out of like the venison, the gas meat, we'll just spawn in more automatically. And then we'll fulfill the recipes. So that's really cool. So that's another item knocked off our list here for the Infinity Catalyst. So we still have to do the ultimate stew, but I think we're going to have to wait until next time to get that one done. Yeah, that one probably will be a little bit easier. I think the recipe isn't quite as complicated, but we still will have to set up some automations for collecting, I think, rice and tomatoes. And then there's also another ingredient in there that's like a crafted thing full of a whole bunch of other items. So yeah, I guess it's a little bit more complex, but at the same time, it should be easier. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.